Hello students, this is one more video on linguistic question paper. So here some of the questions we are going to detail in brief, right? So let us start with first question, that is define phonetics and discuss its scope. So phonetics is the branch of linguistics, we all know that. That's a branch of linguistics that studies the sound of human speech. So phonetics is more to do with sound, right? And sound not of animals and all, sound of human speech. So phonetics is the sound of human speech. Okay. Now it is concerned with the physical properties of speech sounds, like how sound is produced, how like what organs participate when we speak, that is physical properties of speech sound, including their production, articulatory phonetics. So that's articulation, like what is articulators, that's upper lip, upper teeth ridge, then lower lip, lower teeth ridge, tongue, right, esophagus, trachea, these are the articulators. Their acoustic properties is, that's acoustic phonetics, and their perception, auditory phonetics, means what we understand, what we listen, what we perceive, then we speak, right? So this is phonetics. First, phonetics is the mainly, that is the study of human sounds of human speech, and there are three things, that's a production, and then acoustic property, what we listen, and then what we understand, that is called perception. Okay. Now articulatory phonetics, how speech sounds are produced by the movement of speech organs. We have already listened and we have discussed this diagram, right? This diagram, right? That's a nose, right? Nostril, these are the lips, these are the teeth ridge, and there is tongue, right? And this part is soft palate, hard palate, right? Then esophagus, and then foot pipe, and then here that's a vocal cord. So these all are called organs of speech. This is organs of speech, right? We have already discussed in the class. So now articulatory phonetics, how speech sounds are produced by movement of speech organs, what I made just now. Then acoustic phonetics, the physical properties of sound speech, such as frequency, amplitude, and duration. Like I'm speaking here, so some of the words I'm repeating, some of the words like in that's a raising voice, some are lower voice. This is acoustic. Then auditory phonetics, how speech sounds are perceived by the ear and processed by the brain, right? So what I receive and then what my brain understand, that comes under auditory phonetics. So that's a phonetics. These are the three branches, we can say, scope of phonetics, that is articulatory, acoustic, and auditory, right? Now next question, write irregular IPA consonants with examples. Irregular, there are regular consonants, right? And irregular IPA consonants are, the international phonetic alphabet are called IPA symbols. There are 44 IPA symbols, right? 44 IPA symbols, we know that, right? Includes several irregular consonants that do not follow the regular pattern. For example, glottal or stop, as in O, right? That is O. O is glottal, right? Then voiceless labio-velar fricative, as in which, in some accents, that is right. Then voiced retroflex plosive, as in some Indian languages. Then retronasal, then voice palatal plosive. I'm leaving this because uh, here, that is, I tell you later, because here I have to explain, which is not possible here. Anyway, moving to next question. What is a phoneme? A phoneme is the smallest unit of sound. Please take care. That's the smallest unit of sound, right? That can distinguish meaning in a language. And phonemes are abstract units of sound that can alter the meaning of words when replaced with another phoneme. For example, in English, P, B are phonemes because they differentiate words like pet and bed. First sound is straight and first sound is phoneme, right? So this is phoneme, this is phoneme, this is phoneme, this is phoneme, right? All 44 sound symbols are phoneme because they are distinguished and smallest unit of sound. This is called meaningful unit, is called phoneme. Okay. Now next question is, what are the synchronic and diachronic approaches? So that is, synchronic is the synchronic approach studies a language at a specific point of time. When we study, see, this are linguistics, the study of language. Grammar is the study of language, right? Parts of speech is the study of language. So when we study of language, any language, suppose I'm learning Marathi, for example. So then when I learn Marathi, so that's a, suppose I focus only on current structure, what's going on, like early old Marathi, middle Marathi and modern Marathi. So I want to learn modern Marathi, for example. So then that is just I don't want to discuss history and all. So what language I would like to listen, I would like to learn, or I would like to discuss. So that particular point of time, what language, suppose old English I want to discuss, I want to learn what's the old English. So then suppose English in Canterbury Tales, for example. So then I limit my study only in Canterbury Tales, mean 1350 century to 14 around. So in the beginning, so that will be my area of study, because I don't want to go back or forward. I would study only for that time, right? That range I would cover, right? So from 1350 to 1400, for example, century English is my area of study. So I study only that particular times English, right? So that is called, when we study point of time, point in time. So that is the approach, that is the study of language is synchronic and diachronic. But then study of language in point in time, that is synchronic. And then history, that when we focus on history, that will be diachronic. So then again, synchronic, it focuses on the structure and usage of language, right? So that synchronic is focuses on structure and usage of language without considering historical development. What's the current, we just want to listen, right? For example, analyzing the grammar, vocabulary, phonology of contemporary English is synchronic study. So what is in synchronic study? We study grammar, right, vocabulary and phonology, means pronunciation of contemporary English, right? We don't want to, these all are the part of any study of language. But then when we study contemporary uh, grammar, vocabulary, phonology, that will be known as synchronic. Now whereas Diachronic is the approach studies the historical development and changes in language over time, right? So how what were what was the pronunciation of old text than new text or something, grammatical changes and vocabulary. So when we study history, historical development of language, that will come under diachronic, right? It examines how language evolve and transform. For example, tracing the evolution of English language from Old English to Middle English to Modern English is a diachronic study. Example, synchronic, examining the use of modern slang in English. So that's a use of modern slang in English. That may be a today that is synchronic approach. And when studying how the pronunciation of the great vowel shift affect English vowels from the 15th to 18th century. Now we use short vowels. So that's a great vowel shift, right? To short vowel. This will be the study of diachronic. Okay. Now next question. What are allophones and allomorphs? We had already discussed. Allophones is phone. Phone is are the variation of single phoneme. That's a phone, right? So variations in a single phoneme is allophone that do not change the meaning of the word. Important, do not change the meaning of a word, right? Just thus just variation of a name. They are context dependent and are perceived as the same phoneme by native speakers. Suppose South Indian English, North Indian English, Punjabi's English, and that's why in India it is called Englishes or Englishes. Why? Because of mother tongue influence. Pronunciation of the same word is changed, but meaning does not change. That is allophones, because pronunciation is changed. For example, and that's why they are talking about that's a context dependent. What's the context, right? What's the situation? Okay. So now, for example, the phoneme P has different allophones. That's a spin and then pin and then spin. So then when we speak spin, pin, and when we say pin, so then our shape of the mouth will be changed. Spin and pin, right? So pin is aspirated because we have to fill the air in our front part of our mouth, right? So these variations occur due to phonetic environment but do not change the meaning of the word, right? So that's a pin and spin, right? Another example I gave you, that sound like P and P. Sometimes P pronounced as P, simple P, and sometimes P is pronounced as P, right? So that's the change. Then allomorphs. Allomorphs are the variation of morpheme, right? That's the variations of a morpheme that convey the same meaning. Here also convey the same meaning, but pronunciation or spelling, right? Differ in pronunciation and spelling, but differ in pronunciation and spelling. They occur due to phonological, morphological, and contextual factors. Why? Because of phonological, morphological, and contextual factors. For example, the plural morpheme, that is, I gave you example, cat, cats, right? So big T plus S, cats actually. But in case of dog, dogs, so that's a G plus S. So it becomes dogs, right? And it is cats, right? So, and in horses, it becomes ES. Here, this is horses. Sound, because of previous letter, sound is changed, and that is allomorphs. Allomorphs are variations in morpheme, right? They convey the same meaning but different in pronunciation or spelling. So spelling is changed, pronunciation is changed. They occur due to phonological, morphological, or contextual factors. It might be any one For example, phonological cats, because after T, S is pronounced in different way, but after G, S is pronounced in Z, whistling sound. Dogs, right? And after horses, so horse and ES, so that pronounces horses, ES pronunciation. So these allomorphs represent the same grammatical function, plurality. All are plural form like cat, cats, dog, dogs, horses, but are pronounced differently based on the phonetic context, because phonetic context is what? That's a G, S, T, S, horse, ES, this way. That is called phonetic context. Now next question is differentiate between phonetics and phonology. Explain them with suitable example. A very common and important question. Phonetics. Phonetics is the study of physical aspects of speech sounds, right? So that is physical aspects, right, of speech sounds, including their production, acoustic properties, and perception. So that's a physical aspect of speech sound, right? How a word is created, right? It focuses on how sounds are made and heard, right? So how sounds are created or made, or how it is heard. Example, measuring the sound frequency and amplitude of the phoneme S and sh, right? So that is the study of phonetics, where sound frequency, right, in S, and sound amplitude and sound frequency in sh is different, right? So that's the study of phonetics. And phonology is the study of how sounds function within a particular language, right? It examines the abstract cognitive aspects of sounds and how they interact with each other in linguistic system. Example, understanding why English distinguishes between phonemes P and B to create different words like pet and bed, right? I tell you, phonology is the study of how sounds function within a particular language, right? It examines the abstract cognitive aspects of sounds and how they interact with each other in a linguistic system. For example, P and B, two phonemes are there to create different words like P and. So that's a phonology. Phonology sounds like when we say P, so then the P, pet and bed. So that's a meaning is changed, right? And because of little phoneme, everything that is sound is changed, right? So this is called phonology. Now, what write a short note on development of old and middle English, which is already discussed in the class. The period of old English began with the arrival of Anglo-Saxon in England, and then old English was heavily influenced by Germanic languages spoken by these tribes, and it had a rich inflectional morphology, meaning that words change for form or to indicate their grammatical rules. The vocabulary was primarily Germanic, but some Latin words were borrowed due to influence of Christianity. So that's the Old English we had already discussed. Then Middle English, Norman conquest in 1066 brought significant change in the English language, and the Normans spoke Old Norman, a variety of Old French, and their rule introduced many French loan words into English. And then the Middle English saw a reduction in inflectional endings, and so they reduce inflectional uh, and then simplification of grammatical structure. So they change grammatical structure, made it simple, and the vocabulary expanded significantly due to French influence, and the Language began to resemble more closely what we recognize as modern English today. Okay. Now, next question is that's a IC analysis. So, IC analysis, Rahul Dravid has been playing cricket since many years. So, Rahul Dravid, and then has been this the noun phrase, and this is the verb phrase, right? And this is the verb, right? Verb VG, verbal group. It's all for VG actually. Then this is helping verb. Then this is playing cricket. This is a main word ing. So that's a adjective verb, right? This is the verbal group and this is noun, right? And then since many years, that's a prepositional phrase. So that prepositional phrase since will be dropped. Then many years, that's the adjectival phrase, right? I gave a book to the boy. I then gave is a verb and a book noun phrase, and to the boy prepositional phrase, that's a prepositional phrase, right? Then prepositional phrase is divided to just a preposition and NP the boy, so the boy the determiner and boy noun. Now the man sees John, the man sees John, the man, and then sees is verbal phrase, that's a verbal phrase, and verb is see and John, right? So this way. So here actually I cannot explain you this. I have to take idea. Yeah, that is important. IC analysis, analyzing the sentence and tree diagram. So that's a IC analysis, the method of breaking down sentence into their component parts, right? It's important is that's a method of breaking down sentences into their component parts constitutes to understand the structure, right? Very important and very good. That is breaking down sentence into their component parts to understand their structure, right? So then the cat caught the mouse. So the cat, we have already discussed the cat, right? Verb form is caught, then noun form the mouse. Simple. We had already discussed. Now phonetic transcription, that's a chair, right? So that's a right? Chair. It can be written this way. Then cheer, right? Here cheer. Then ship. Then pleasure, right? Then ginger, then ringing, then dish, here dictionary, right? Nary you can write this way also, dictionary. Oh, sorry, this way nahi. Dictionary you can write this way, nary, dictionary. Yeah. Diary, right? Limiting. Then perfection, okay. Then cliche, then air as this way also you can write air, this way, air. Okay, now ambiguity. Okay, so that is something we had discussed, right? And then if you have any confusion, please ask me. Thank you so much.